There's one thing that you don't want, is to smell nice. You want to smell unforgettable. Nice is for losers. Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're well. The person I bought these sunglasses from said that they were cursed. I don't even know what they were. Ooh, maybe they are. Where was I? Smelling nice. Smelling nice is good. Everybody likes to smell nice, but sometimes you want to take it a step further. And that's what we're talking about here today. Fragrances that transcend niceness. They reach the next level. All the fragrances that I talked to you about are gonna be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And we'll also be doing a giveaway of a couple fragrances as well. Didn't think that through. So stay tuned for that. That's got sharp edges. Let's kick things off with one of the tackiest bottles ever. I absolutely love it. Apex by Fragrance World. So as you can see, it's kind of a stock looking bottle, just kind of square in shape, but it says Fragrance World on the back, so it's not like straight up stock. And then on the front, it's got an animal, just kind of busting right out of there like a chest burster, an alien.
Oh, God.
Yeah, little tiger action. Now you may think, well, it's shaped like a square. It's called Apex. Even though the color scheme is different, I bet it's a clone of Apex by Roger Parfum. And I'd say, man, that's a really good guess. You are very smart and wrong. It's not that at all. I can feel it. It's trying to get me to say and do messed up things, man. Instead, this is a clone of Penhaligon's The Blazing Mr. Sam. Yeah, that makes sense. Now you can see the similarity between the bottle of The Blazing Mr. Sam and this one, and the name and everything. It just makes total sense. So yeah, if you take this one at like face value, you're gonna think that stuff is probably not so good. You'd be wrong again. Actually smells way better than you would expect, especially at the price point, like 35 bucks or so. It's a tobacco fragrance, tobacco, cinnamon, cardamom, also some vanilla, some woody notes in there as well. So perfectly suited for fall and winter time. And for the price point, one of the absolute best clones or alternatives to that fragrance that you can get today. It's just one of those ones that if you don't know anything about it and you see it, you're gonna think, well, it's probably not worth picking up. But it actually is really nice for evenings, even more formal situations as well. It's good stuff, surprisingly. The next fragrance is by Carolina Herrera. It is CH Men. And this one right here, even though it has been out for a while and it's nowhere near as popular as it used to be, still works and works well. Nowadays, Carolina Herrera is more well known for their bad boy line, though they do come out with like limited edition CH Men fragrances pretty much every year, and limited edition 212 fragrances as well. Bad boy is what most people know them for and what most people are wearing nowadays. This one right here came out a little over 15 years ago. So like I said, been out for a minute, not at its peak of popularity anymore, but that can actually be a good thing for you because it means not as many people out there are gonna be wearing it. In fact, very few people are gonna be out there wearing it, which is gonna make it smell much more unique if you decide to roll with it. Now, in terms of notes, it is a leather forward fragrance, but a really nice, sweet leather, extremely wearable, people-pleasing, not animalic, not funky, not harsh. You also have some woods and spices in here, little tiny touch of citrus off the top. It's really well known actually for having kind of a sugary scent profile to it. But when I say that, don't think bubblegum a la Invictus or anything like that. No, it's more so just like a really nice, sweet leather, as I mentioned before. Now, the one potential drawback with this fragrance is that it is not insane in terms of projection. It's more average. And nowadays, it seems like fragrances are putting more and more and more of an emphasis on being strong and lasting forever and projecting heavily. So fragrances that are more moderate, they feel even weaker nowadays just because so many things coming out are unchained. It doesn't bother me because I think the way this one works even better with it being more moderate. It has that kind of like magnetic, addictive pull to it where you catch a little whiff and you're like, what is that? I don't do that. I'm not saying I do that. That would be weird. Other people do that. So for me, not an issue, smells great. And if you want to, of course, you can always go heavy. Luna Rossa, black. You cannot go wrong with this fragrance right here. Also one of those ones that smells really unique compared to most other fragrances out there. You're gonna get a lot of tonka in here, so it has a nice warmth, a nice sweetness to it. Even kind of like a light rubbery facet, which actually smells fantastic. I know every time I say that, it's like it doesn't sound fantastic, but it is. Definitely more of an evening fragrance, which you probably already figured since it's named Luna Rossa Black and in an all black bottle. Doesn't exactly conjure up the feeling of being out in the middle of the day or anything. Wonderful formal fragrance, date night fragrance, very, very, very memorable. It does have a similarity to some discontinued fragrances out there, but they're discontinued, so realistically nobody's wearing them anymore. Bulgari Black, Midnight in Paris. And this one, I think, along with pretty much everything else I'm gonna talk to you about, is the type of fragrance that when you smell it, it sticks in your brain. So it's one of those ones that you can smell it now and then smell it again weeks later, and you're not gonna confuse it with something else, you know? You're not gonna be like, oh, is that Sauvage?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the is that? What is that, Private Pile?
No, it's got its own unique scent profile, and that's what a lot of these are about. Now, before we head to the next one, guys, I have some codes for you, including a new code for Frag Flex. That code is FlexGS, 15 bucks off any order over 150. So if you shop at Frag Flex, use that code, save yourself some cash. Then, of course, codes for Joma Shop, the Perfume Box, Gift Express, and many other stores. So anytime you shop at these places, use those codes, save yourself some money. The next one is from Rabanne, and it is Million Golden Oud. 1 million Golden Oud. Still has the 1 on it. Because you know, they got rid of the 1 million, they got rid of the Paco in front of the Rabanne. They're trying to simplify things. Because it's very confusing when you go into a store and you see a bottle and it's got a 1 on it, and then words, like, what does this mean? If only they could remove stuff from this bottle so I would be less confused. And they heard our cry. They did that. Thanks, Rabanne. Now, in terms of notes, this guy right here has saffron, it has nutmeg, surprise, surprise. It does indeed have oud. There's also leather in here, pepper, patchouli, bergamot as some of the other notes. It does have a little bit of a similarity to Halfeti by Penhaligon's. So the second fragrance here that has a Penhaligon's similarity. Obviously more of a fall wintertime fragrance with an evening lean, and pretty much everything I talked to you about in today's video is gonna be fall winter-esque, since we're heading into fall as when I'm filming the video. In typical Rabanne fashion, great performance, lasts a long time, projects heavily. It does have a little bit of an edge compared to most designer scents out there. Again, I compared it a little bit to the Penhaligon's Halfeti. This one gonna be really unique compared to pretty much every designer fragrance out there, outside of the ones that are in that overall Halfeti style, of which there are actually a decent number of fragrances that are kind of in that wheelhouse. But on the whole, that type of fragrance still not being worn a huge amount. So sweet spices, rich leather, deep woods, again, not heavily animalic or anything like that, and good performance, everything you would want in a cool weather scent. Yo guys, this next one, heavily biased alert. Okay, let's keep it between us. It is West Loop by Michael Ja Rule, ex Gents Scents. Michael Malul. So obviously this is one that I did in collaboration with Michael Malul. I creatively directed this fragrance. That's why it's got Gents Scents on the front there. Like I said, a little bit of a bias, slight, very slight. Super slight. Now you can find these online all over the place at this point. Actually, a lot of discounters carry them, but not at like a discounted price, which kind of defeats the purpose. But you can find them there, like at Joma Shop, for example. A few others have it as well. You can also find it at Perfumania, inside of stores in the US. You can also find them at the Fragrance Outlet, TFO. And you can also find it at Michael Malul's website, which is also linked in the description. I have a code that you can use to save some money there as well. This one's really interesting in that women like it just as much as men. Like, a lot, actually. They love to smell it. Like, this stuff is a compliment machine, but they also like to steal it and wear it, or just buy it for themselves, which is reflected in the sales numbers for this. A lot of women purchasing it, I think just to wear it themselves. So shout out to you ladies out there. In terms of notes, it has vanilla orchid, almond blossom, cinnamon, tobacco, tonka, and amberwood, among other notes. And it's got a really cool scent profile. It is definitely sweet. That has a little floral along the edges there, which gives it that unisex kind of flair, but also gives it that kind of magnetic feel. And to me, it doesn't really smell super similar to anything else out there, which is one of the reasons I liked it so much when it was in development, because it gives you that designer wearability. Like you can pull this off pretty much whenever, daytime or evening, during fall and winter time, but it's also decently unique. In keeping with the times, good performance, and like I said a couple times, pretty sweet. Let's go with a newer one, Gucci Guilty Absolute de Parfum. Yeah, Absolute de Parfum. Kind of interesting because they have, of course, Gucci Guilty Absolute with a TE on the end, but then they were like, I don't like that. Remove the TE, Absolute de Parfum. Big brain. That means in the future, instead of Gucci Guilty Intense, they can come out with Gucci Guilty Inten. Or instead of Gucci Guilty Essence, Gucci Guilty Essen. Nice. So obviously you can see that the bottle is pretty much the same as Gucci Guilty Elixir's bottle, only they have thrown a gradient over the top. They've given it this black finish up here. And when it was first announced, actually the note breakdown was pretty different than Gucci Guilty Elixir, but now there's a full note breakdown and it does share a decent amount of similarities with Elixir that came before it, both in terms of the note breakdown itself and also the scent. But that's not a bad thing. Gucci Guilty Elixir smells great. So how is it different? Well, this one has an additional boozy note put in there, rum off the top. So you're gonna get more sweetness in here. It's also a little bit thicker to my nose, also smoother. Doesn't have as much of the orange blossom, so it's not gonna be quite as fresh, but it's right in that wheelhouse where if you like Gucci Guilty Elixir, you will probably really like this one. Also, is it redundant? Yeah, it's pretty redundant. So if you want to avoid any kind of redundancy in your collection and you already have Guilty Elixir, you don't need this one. But for some people, this is gonna be an improvement over that one. It leans a little bit more fall and winter time, maybe slightly more grown up, and with that additional nice warmth and sweetness that it has, a really good evening fragrance as well. For the Iris boys, we got this one, Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum. Because you can't go wrong with Iris, at least in my opinion. Don't ask my wife. Her opinion is just, it's not great when it comes to Iris, okay? Let's just not even bring that up. But like I said, I really like Iris, so here it is. It's gonna be in here. The Iris in here, a little bit similar to your Valentino Uomo Intense, not Born in Roma Intense, but Valentino Uomo, the original, and Uomo Intense is what I mean. And then Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Dior Homme Original, stuff like that. It's got that kind of creamy sweetness to the Iris in here. Not as much of like a zingy, soapy, clean Prada L'Homme type Iris. That's not what's going on. You also have cardamom in here off the top. You have tonka as it dries down. Really classy, well done, high quality stuff. The issue with this one, and the reason it doesn't get talked about as often as those other ones, is first off, it's Narciso Rodriguez, not as big of a house, and it came out in 2022. So it came out after the other ones had already kind of established everything. And then as that started to kind of like fade out as much from popularity, this one came out. And it was like, oh, it's a little too late, man. But it still smells just as good. Like this can hang with those easily. Really memorable, fantastic smelling evening fragrance, really classy. You can wear this to the symphony, fit right in. As if everybody is like, yo dog, I need a fragrance for the symphony. I go there with regularity and I need to get a fragrance that's gonna be popping while they playing that Mozart. They're gonna hit me with the Brahms, I'm gonna hit them with the Iris, you know what I'm saying? I prefer Handel myself, my good man. Perhaps some Chopin. All right, let's go next with this one. Zimaya's Modhesh Aura. This is a clone fragrance and it is a clone of Lamal's Elixir, hence the gold bottle. This is the vibe, I've realized. Like the vibe for anything Lamal Elixir clone-ish. It's like get yourself some plastic cladding that is gold and throw that over the bottle. Boom, Lamal Elixir. It's the move. It's the go-to. So we can keep it pretty simple with this. It is Zimaya, which means a few things. First off, it's cheap, bruv. It's cheap, isn't it, bruv? Allow it. Allow it, fam. Oh, it's terrible. It's so bad. Oh, I apologize to Londoners everywhere. It's got vanilla, tonka, benzoin, mint, lavender. Like, it's just Lamal Elixir, okay? The performance is really good. It projects, it lasts. If you were looking for bang for your buck, Lamal Elixir, this is about as good as you're gonna find. because this is one of those ones trying to be like a one-to-one, trying to be real close, real similar, real sneaky, and it is. We gotta go with this next. This is Intense Red Tobacco from Mancera. And the original Red Tobacco also really, really, really extremely memorable, but the problem with it is the opening can be real harsh for some people. Like it can turn people off like that. But once it hits the dry down, Red Tobacco slaps. People love it because it ends up being this great mix of like warmth, spice, sweetness, woods, tobacco, just kind of all mingling together. It works perfectly. Intense Red Tobacco, also the dry down, people love the stuff. The opening, not quite as apocalyptically harsh. Now you'd think it would be, and it is strong to be fair, but you would think it would be even more hardcore because the Intense name right there, Intense Red Tobacco. Now, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted, it is strong in the opening. It packs a punch, it's just not as chaotic. It's a little bit smoother the way it comes across, which gives it more of a slightly upscale feel. Now, all that being said, this is going to be a lot like Red Tobacco in the sense that the dry down is going to appeal to more people than the opening is, and you should not go out of your way to spend a lot more money to get the Intense version over just the regular Red Tobacco. So if you can find that regular Red Tobacco for, I don't know, 40 bucks less than this or something, that's gonna be a better bet, a better buy for most people. Just be aware of the opening. I have on a Boss shirt today, so I figured let's put a Boss fragrance in. The scent, Elixir, which has a new bottle now, looks kind of cool. Looks like this right here. So I have the old lame janky bottle design. Dang it. Hopefully Hugo Boss has not left the scent line for dead because I don't know that we're getting a new one this year. Unless they drop one on us like right at the end of the year, which I guess is technically possible. Note-wise, boring. It has pepper, lavender, and woods. Sandalwood to be specific. So yeah, and not a very exciting note breakdown. It does have kind of that Meninka vibe to it, which all the scent fragrances really should have, in my opinion, because that's what makes them the scent. The Meninka, right? Which gives you this kind of like dusty, fruity sweetness, this exotic kind of feel that you really only get from that line. This one also has a vanilla sort of sweetness to it as well, aromatic touches. So it is definitely on the sweeter side of things, but it's also quite unique. Really, most of the other fragrances you could compare this to are also in the scent line. So it gives you something interesting, wearable, compliment pulling, versatile for fall and winter that smells like its own thing. I almost forgot the giveaway. So we have right here, Sultan the Conqueror by French Avenue. Quite a big presentation. And then this one is actually by Fragrance World. Minister of Oud, Greatness. What could that be? Also, I particularly like this one because Greatness has an extra E. So, cool. Greatness. So those are the fragrances being given away. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, here's the rules. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to. In the comments, let me know what is the fragrance you go for. If you are trying to smell unforgettable, whatever it is, let me know. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post tab of the YouTube channel the following month. If you're the winner, hit me up, I'll ship it out to you. Good luck. Thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there, take care of yourself. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.